Every AI reviewer on YouTube right now is calling Claude Opus 4.7 a game changer, and they're wrong. Or they're right. But in the next few minutes, I'm going to show exactly what Claude Opus 4.7 is and who should not be using it. Plus some examples that I built using it to see just how powerful this model is. Jumping right into it, Claude 4.7 has, well, a major beefy stats compared to Claude 4.6. As we see with Claude 4.6 and 4.7, agentic coding with the Sweet Bench and Sweet Bench verified, 4.7 is beating out 4.6, and it's not really that close. Not only is it beating out 4.6, but it's beating out 5.4 and Gemini 3.1 Pro. The only model that is not beating out is Mythos, which is this behemoth of a model that's top secret at the moment. We see going in the line, agentic terminal coding, it beats out 4.6, but doesn't beat out ChatGPT 5.4, and it's neck and neck with, well, Gemini 3.1 Pro. It sweeps the board for mostly multidisciplinary reasoning. But what's interesting when it comes to agentic search, Claude 4.7 isn't beating out 4.6, as well as not beating out the rest of the models, Gemini 3.1 or ChatGPT 5.4. We see a good bump with agentic computer use for 4.7, and it's beating out the rest of the models. And it seems like it has a really good grasp on the models. An overall bump. They say Opus 4.7 does really well at instruction following, improve multimodal support, real world work, meaning like the Excel formulas, PowerPoints, those type of things. They also say Opus 4.7 is better at using file system based memory and remembering important notes across long multiple sessions. So basically you can talk to 4.7 and it understands the context of conversations a lot better. Here are some graphs that talks about the office task and how it's better than the rest of the models. Even it has this upgraded vision capability that's better than Opus 4.6. Document reasoning, long text reasoning, biology, which is pretty much like health, long-term coherence, which talks about that memory and understanding a lot in long conversations, and of course coding. And you see that, well, this is what really makes Opus 4.7 really good. But let's actually jump into some demos I was able to create. I actually asked Opus 4.7, I'm going to showcase you to my viewers, and what do you think they would like to see? I previously gave Opus 4.6 a lot of my channel data, and I was seeing if it could remember past information about our conversations to make a really informed decision now. And basically what Claude 4.7 said was that, hey, a really good presentation would be a visualization using some type of 3.js for a real interactive demo, as well as a SaaS app, a complete application built in one shot for both of these. They also gave some other recommendations, but I thought these two would have been the strongest for the channel. And what I actually asked it to do for the visual representation, because it wanted to build a solar system, which I felt was pretty generic, I asked Claude 4.7 Opus to build a visual representation of the AI bubble, or the cyclical nature of money being spent between different frontier AIs and the infrastructure companies like NVIDIA, AMD, Oracle, Microsoft, companies like that, to show the actual representation of how money is going back and forth between these few companies, which is basically the AI bubble in a nutshell. And it thought for not too long, maybe a few minutes, and it got back this. And it wasn't too bad. This is the 2025 data, and it literally researched this by going online, doing a few research, coming back with its own numbers to actually make this representation. So this is actually pretty crazy in one shot, but these numbers probably don't add up perfectly because this is one shot from a quick search with AI. But it was still impressive how it could understand the whole entire context from a simple prompt. I didn't go into much detail for it to be able to make this, but it totally understood the assignment, and I think it did really well. The next coding example I did was, well, create a YouTube strategy AI tool, basically a SaaS app for a YouTuber to understand their channel analytics a lot better. And it asked me, do I want it to be real data or fake data? And I wanted it to be real, and I asked it to surprise me. And surprised I was. It made a full-blown dashboard with video information, different stats, tables of contents, and even a space for you to even talk to AI live about the channel analytics. And this is more so a mock-up, because when they don't actually have the YouTube API in the back end to pull in real data, so it can only scrape what it could see publicly. Also, a lot of these numbers are off. So I do think that this was a good example and cool that this was made in a few minutes, but it doesn't seem like it's all the way there yet. But let's be real. Who is Opus 4.7 really for? And should you upgrade from Opus 4.6? Or should you be even using any of the Opus models in general? They say Opus 4.7 is a direct upgrade to Opus 4.6, but two changes are worth planning for because they often affect token usage. Opus 4.7 uses an updated tokenizer that improves how the model processes text. The trade-off is that the same input can map to more tokens. Roughly one token is 1.35 depending on the content type. Second, Opus 4.7 thinks more on a higher effort levels, particularly on later runs and agentic settings. This improves its reliability on hard problems, but it does mean it produces more output tokens. Users can control token usage in various ways, but using the effort parameter adjusts their task budget, meaning if you want to think less, it's going to cost less, but you're going to get worse results. Meaning Opus 4.7 is going to be more expensive in general. It may be faster in some regards if you're worried about speed and you want smarts and you don't care about the cost of it. 4.7 is where it's at. But if you care about maybe minimizing costs but you still want smarts, 4.6 isn't too far off. As of now, besides Mythos, 4.7 is the best model that we have available to us. So you should use it as, I wouldn't say a nuclear option, but as a last case scenario if you think none of the other models will work for you. Claude 4.7, Claude 4.6 Sonnet is actually still pretty good and a very viable choice for most tasks. I would say if you're really diving deep into coding in particular, you should be using 4.7. Maybe you're stuck on a task or you're thinking deeply through something. Let 4.7 help with that brainstorming process, maybe even developing partial pieces of methods or functions or pieces of code, and you want it to be done very well, especially given a entire code base. Even started from scratch, I don't think Opus 4.7 is a bad choice or a way to go about doing things. Even though 4.7 is out and it does seem pretty cool, I'm a little bit unhappy because we now know Mythos is out there. There's this bigger behemoth of a model out there that is just beyond our reach. Even though we can build really cool things with 4.6 and 4.7, it does suck to know that there's something out there waiting for us to get to and that we'll never get to. And well, maybe we will get to it, but we're going to get worse models to play with in the meantime. But tell me what you think about Claude 4.7 Opus, and will you be using it? Also, with the decay and enshittification of Opus 4.6, these numbers are kind of hard to believe. We've seen Opus 4.6 get nerfed, and now we have, well, a less powerful 4.6. So in reality, how good is Opus 4.7 really? If you want me to put it to a more extreme test, let me know. With that being said, your boy Dex9 Dexter out.